everyone, welcome back to another exciting edition of The Untold with Hussein Ajouz and yours truly, Ahmad ALMazeedi. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
We have a very interesting guest.
Yep.
Someone I had the pleasure of working with, seeing their work firsthand, what they do. It is a very difficult job,
Absolutely.
requires full attention.
Absolutely.
You almost have to have OCD to succeed at this job.
It's a very difficult one.
Very difficult
Very
one,
difficult,
and there is no room for error.
Absolutely. And I think our parents would know him quite a lot from the
Yeah.
old shows.
Yeah. He's never been seen on camera, but he's always been behind the scenes.
This is the first time ever.
It's first time ever. So this is a historical moment
It
for
is.
KTV. He's not a stranger. We'll welcome him right after this. Welcome back on The Untold. We're being joined by our very special guest, Mufeed Khamis. Welcome on the show. How are you?
Good. I'm delighted to be here with you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're no stranger to KTV. You've been behind the scenes your whole life as an interpreter, but this is your first time appearing on the
Yes.
camera.
The first ever.
First ever.
The first ever.
First
Yeah.
ever behind the camera,
Let's make it worth it.
but outside of the booth.
Outside the booth.
Wow,
Right.
wow.
Touring booth.
You've been interpreting since 1981 you
That's
started?
right. That's true.
So tell us, how did it start? Why did it start?
well,
Take us to 81.
yeah.
Yeah.
It came from the very early age. I was born in Sudan.
Okay,
Khartoum, Sudan.
interesting.
And I used to sit with my father in the car. He used to drive while I was looking at the traffic signs and the signboards in the streets and read that in Arabic, the words in Arabic. But I was eager to know the same words in a different language.
You're to
which is
translate.
English.
You look at them and you're thinking of the meaning of them.
Yes, and my
Okay.
father used to help me. Yeah, that for example, for the word qif,
Okay.
for stop.
Okay.
My father would go and say, you want to know the other language? Yeah, I said yes. He said, okay, that is HALT. That's halt. Then I would go back before sleeping at night and memorize
The word.
the letters and the words
Wow, okay.
and so forth. So he noticed that I'm eager to know the other languages like that. So he hired me a tutor, an English teacher,
Nice.
at the maybe 5 or 6 years
wow, that's very, very
before
young.
school.
Very young, yeah.
Preschool. So it grew. This this
Passion.
passion grew
Okay.
up with me to the school.
Okay,
I-
we're talking about translation here, right?
Yes,
We're talking-
yes.
Okay, fair.
You know what? I was at school. We used to study Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities, or Oliver Twist,
Yeah.
and I used to translate that, although it was written in a,
Yeah.
Nice. You know the questions, like I feel
Hi-
like translators, are they made or born? And in this case, they're definitely
I,
born.
I think I was born a translator, and I love it.
You love translate.
Yes, I do.
Well,
Yes.
Is it having the ability to help people understand what's happening
Yes.
when it comes to interpreting? Is
Yes.
that why you
Yes.
enjoy it?
Yes.
Helping people understand.
It's not only helping; it's caring about people. The people who put the headset, the audience
Right.
who are waiting to listen
Right.
to understand what the speaker is saying in a different language.
Right.
So you care about them. You have to let them understand
Yeah.
what is being said. this is care. I call it care.
Yeah.
So,
That's interesting.
take us back to so at the age of 5, you're interested, you're born with this
Right.
passion and love for translating. And at what point did you actually pursue it? Like, what did you do at uni then? Do you pursue education in that direction as well? Or was it something different?
No, I pursued normal education,
So, okay, something different.
but with a focus on English
on
language.
Okay.
So your bachelor's was in,
Sorry?
your bachelor's degree was in
Mass communication.
mass communication with a focus in English.
Yes, because we had a subject called press translation. And the teacher was brilliant,
Yeah.
the one who taught us this subject. He was brilliant. And I admired him. And he pushed me to love that line of business. Okay.
interesting.
Actually, it was not business for me. It was not a profession. It was a hobby.
Okay.
But when I came to Kuwait in 1981, it turned into a profession.
Profession.
Because there was, again, a Sudanese translator here in Kuwait who trained me to be a professional translator.
What was the first job you had here?
With a bank, in one of the major banks in Kuwait.
Nice.
And that job was focused on the translation aspect.
No, two things: marketing, advertising, and
Okay,
translation.
okay, fair.
Because
Wow.
they discovered that I was good in translating, so they assigned me that work.
So
as well.
I mean, surely when you jump into this, I mean, you're interested in translating, and there's a big difference between being interested and doing it as a hobby, and then doing it because someone is paying you a paycheck at the end of the month to do it. How would it feel when you had your first ever task in translation?
I was very happy, and I remember that when I was interviewed, they gave me a text
Yeah.
about oil in Kuwait. I remember it.
Wow.
42 years ago.
Wow. That's interesting.
And I wrote it nicely, and the chairman of that bank, he called me and said, "Where did you learn this English?" I told him in Sudan and so forth. So I enjoyed working in that field.
That's
When did it become, because you're a translator and an interpreter?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Do they go side to side? Like, are they the same, or I'm just again for the viewers?
No, there are differences. They
Okay.
are different. Because in translation, you have all the time to think and review.
Yeah.
But when it comes to interpreting,
it's instant.
there's no
There's no
time.
time, no room for error.
No room for error.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So with your like 40 plus years throughout all your different jobs that you had, what would stand out as the most challenging? If you have a story for us to share.
Challenging.
Yeah.
You're talking about the types of translation.
Or an experience you had as an interpreter that was the most challenging maybe.
To me, the most challenging translation was a medical one.
A medical one,
Yes,
because of all the medical terms.
because of the Latin terms,
Latin terms.
terminology, and abbreviations,
Right.
and the awful handwriting of doctors.
They all agree on that one.
They
Yeah.
tortured us. They used to torture us.
How would you prepare for a medical
I have
interpretation?
To. I have to use magnifiers. I have
Oh.
to search here and
But that's in
there, and
translating.
It's a terrible work.
It's,
Yes,
Don't work with doctors.
especially when it comes to interpreting.
yeah, so I'm
Oh
guessing
my
it's
gosh.
harder when you're
It's
interpreting.
very, very
yeah.
hard.
So how do you prepare if you
I
want to
remember.
interpret it?
Yes, I prepare myself.
Yeah,
For example, if there is a conference on a certain
medical thing.
medical thing,
Yeah,
I would go and do my research
Nice.
and do a lot of
a lot
homework
of homework.
before
About the
And
going.
topic
hope for
itself.
the best. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I remember once I was called for a conference.
Yeah.
Very short notice, maybe 1 hour
Okay.
notice. And I went there. I didn't know what the topic of the
Right.
conference was, and I didn't know anything about.
Okay.
And when I entered there, it was about autism,
Ooh.
Wow.
which is a very, very difficult
Difficult topic.
It's very difficult.
Topic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because it has, chemistry and the brain. And
Yeah.
It's very, very hard.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I prayed to God to
Was it
make
English to
success.
Arabic or Arabic to English?
Both ways.
Both ways.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
and this is one of the challenges, by the way. You reminded me.
When you're going both ways.
When someone, a speaker, for example,
Yeah.
is talking, and he switches between the languages,
Yeah. And then you have to switch with them.
I have to switch my mind again and follow him.
Right.
You know, and we've previously had an interpreter that told us that the maximum she can sit is 45 minutes.
Well, now it's less than that.
How
Yes.
much is it
It's 25, actually.
25
And mu-
minutes?
Yes, and must be, in the booth, there must be 2 interpreters,
Wow.
not only one.
Wow.
Because sometimes you need to cough. You need
That's the thing.
Right, right. But
your colleague will take it from you. You know?
Okay, how do you deal with it? I mean, when you're taken to that conference, like autism, all right, like surely sometimes mistakes happen. Surely, like that's
Yes,
a human.
yes,
Like a human
yes.
error is a must. How do you back yourself up? Like, I mean,
And you know what? To, for more trouble to me, there was a lady sitting among the audience. She wrote something and she showed it to me through the glass like this.
Yeah.
It was about flaxseed oil.
flaxseed.
In
Flaxseed
Arabic.
oil.
She wrote it in
Yeah.
Arabic.
Okay.
What is that? She wanted to know that in English. I had to, squeeze my mind
Yeah.
to remember the term.
Right.
Yeah.
And thank God I
What
remembered
is flaxseed oil in Arabic?
it. زيت بذرة الكتان.
All right, good to know now.
She wrote to me
Yeah,
زيت بذرة
that's what she
الكتان.
wrote.
And she wants to know it. And she was waiting while I was working, Then I remembered it.
Wow.
Thank God.
What are like? I mean, Ahmed asked you about the challenges. I mean, what's the most difficult kind of experiences that an interpreter can go through? Because you've done so many different projects.
One of the troubles that an interpreter can face is when you don't see the speaker.
Okay.
So, I remember once I went to a conference. Usually we go one day before
Yeah.
to check the equipment and voice and
Yeah.
everything. So we went there, checked the equipment, the room, everything, and the audience was clear in front of us, and the speaker's podium was in front of me. The following day, when I came to the conference, I found out that they put a wall, gypsum board wall. I couldn't see any of the speakers. So I had to imagine what his gestures, his moves, like that, because that helps you as an interpreter. His move, when you see the speaker, it's much better than
So
not
it's
seeing it.
more difficult doing the job without seeing them.
Without seeing
The
is more
gestures
difficult.
factor into your
Exactly,
translation.
exactly.
It's interesting. Do you separate yourself from the job? Like, if you had to interpret something that goes against your own beliefs, do you just do it for the job, or do you say, I don't want to translate this part?
No.
How do you face
I'm
that
ve-
situation?
I'm very neutral in that case.
Neutral,
Yes.
as
I
you
don't
should be.
care about what
Yeah.
the beliefs and these things.
You're here
I
to
just
interpret it.
Do it the interpreting in order to make the people understand
Right.
what's being said.
Right.
But do
Have
you,
nothing to do with
Because
the
they're not
content.
your words, they're their words.
Yeah.
Right?
because you're listening to their voice in your ear, like, do you actually retain any of that information, or is it just in out, in out, in out, in out?
You know what? Interpreting
Yeah.
involves 4 processes.
Okay. What is it?
4 at the same time. Okay, you listen to the speaker in your ear. Then you send what you listen in your ear to your brain.
Yep.
And in your brain, you shift that from one language,
Yep.
from the original language, to the other one.
My God.
And then you have to send it through your mouth.
Right.
So these are 4 processes in less than a second.
Oh my God.
So
It's
it's
a
not an
challenge,
easy.
it's a
It's
challenge.
Which
not
is
easy.
why it's 25 minutes.
Which is why it's 25-minute time limit.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the limit now, according
Right.
to the United Nations.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot to ask you. Questions, a lot more questions. We're just gonna have to go on a quick break. I'll be right back
Okay.
with you.
Okay.
We're back on the Untold, continuing our conversation with Mufeed Khamis. Not a stranger here, a very familiar voice on KTV,
Yep.
but now we can put a face to the name,
Yes.
right? We're continuing our conversation about translating and interpretation. How does culture factor into the words you're trying to translate to the people?
Okay.
Because they play a factor, because the one word can have different meaning
Right.
depending on
Right.
the nationality of the speaker, the culture they're in,
Right.
and so forth.
Right. Well, culture is a very important component when it comes to translation or interpreting. For example, do you remember there was a show called Sesame Street?
Sesame Street, yes.
I used to translate a lot of episodes there.
Wow.
There are characters in that show, right? Ernie,
Right.
Bert, and
The little puppets.
Yes,
Yeah.
the puppets.
Yes.
When you translate those characters into Arabic, for example, you cannot give the same names. You have to choose names that
that makes
tally
sense,
with,
yeah.
that make sense with
Right.
the Arabic culture.
Culture.
And this, we call it, rather than translation, we call it Arabization,
Arabization.
because you shift the culture itself,
Right.
not the words. So if you stick to the words and go literally the same,
Translating.
no, it will lose the meanings.
You lose the meaning.
Yeah.
Of course, surely.
Yes.
By the way, I have to say this, before we start the episode,
Yeah.
for the viewers, it was such a coincidence that we have the book here, which we've
Ah.
never ever read
We
to
have
anyone.
random stuff for the set, but it turns out
That you have
Yeah.
contributed.
you've
Yes.
contributed to this book.
Yes.
What is the
I
title?
was one of the authors there of the.
So essentially, it's the commercial and financial vocabulary, English to Arabic guide.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. I
And
was
you
one
contributed to this.
Yes. I
So what was your contribution again, just so that we are aware?
compiling
Compiling the
terms.
words. Terms.
And that was very initial, in the
What year is
preliminary.
that back to?
Because that would help the bank employees.
Understand the financial terms
Yes,
better?
financial terms, because most of our work was dependent on English.
I see.
So I mean, going back and when we started the episode, you spoke to us about the little kid, the 5-year-old kid that kind of like was so curious to translate
Yes.
street signs.
Yes.
I mean, did you ever see this journey that you went through today? Was this the journey you hoped for?
Yes, it was the journey.
This
it
is
was
the
my
dream?
Yes, it was my dream. And when I came to Kuwait, it turned into,
Reality.
a career. It's my career. Khalas, that's it.
That's it.
Became his calling.
Yes, exactly.
This was why.
Does it ever feel boring at all?
No.
At
no,
all in any
no.
different project?
I'll tell you a small story about
Okay.
that boring. I have a friend who is a teacher, English teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
He used to tell me that your English is good. You can teach. I can bring you children
True.
to give
Private
tuition,
private
private lessons,
Yeah.
like that.
You didn't like that idea.
I not only I don't like, I cannot. I used to sit with my son to teach him. It's maximum 5 minutes,
You can't stand
and
it.
after the 5 minutes, I get chopped.
Yeah.
Khalas. But when you ask me to translate for 8, 10, 12, 14 hours
Wow.
continuously, I don't get
That's
bored.
my follow-up question. What's the longest session? We know the rules, But what's the longest session you've done continuously?
You
Yeah.
remember? Overnight. I want to say something.
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
If you love something, you do it.
Yeah.
True.
You don't need anything for
Yeah.
it anyway.
Because I
You just
love
need
it.
love. You just need passion.
Yes.
Everything
I'm
else figures
passionate
itself
about
out.
it. Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
How then do you, because I've experienced this with you.
Mm-hmm.
I was directing, you were live interpreting. How do you prepare yourself or cope with the stress and pressure
Yeah.
that these long nights bring?
That's a very nice question. Well, when the day of a conference, for example,
Yeah.
I from early in the morning, I prepare myself
Mentally.
mentally,
Yeah.
yes, and I relax. Don't let anything makes me angry,
Yeah.
and feel natural and have a,
Like
a
very
warm
zen, you feel
shower
very zen.
like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can relax
I
before
love that.
It's like preparing
Yes.
for a battle.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
War.
Because after you leave the booth,
Yeah.
after the end of the
Yeah.
conclusion of the conference, after you leave the booth, you go home like this.
It's
Tired.
exhausting.
Exhausting.
It's exhausting. My God.
But here's another battle you might have to face very soon, or you might have faced AI. AI is a huge tool right now.
Right.
It's translating,
Yes.
it's
Yep.
interpreting,
Yeah,
it's getting out of hand.
Right.
What is your input on this?
that's
whole thing?
true, but not giving the same results of human
In
translation.
what sense?
In what sense?
Yeah.
In for example, one term
Yeah.
in English
Yeah.
could have 3, 4, 10
Different meanings.
different meanings.
And the AI might not choose the proper meaning
How
with
could
the context.
Yes, how could the machine choose the right
I don't
one?
know. I think
He's
I really
right,
don't
but
know.
it's about like, let's say 98% accuracy. Almost.
Yes, but not 100%.
Not 100%.
Do you think it's going to be faster than a human in terms of
I
interpreting?
think it will.
It
be.
is already
It
faster.
is already
It is already
faster
faster.
now.
Because
But
you give
not-
it a script and it give it back to you in no time.
But it lacks the spirit.
Lacks the spirit.
Spirit
Always,
is
always,
very
always.
It's the human
important.
touch.
And
Same
it's too
thing I
robotic.
told you about
Human
AI in
touch.
different
Yeah,
professions.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the human touch. But
Exactly.
is it a threat to your job security?
Well,
Do you feel like
if you asked me this question 10 years ago,
maybe?
I would say yes.
Yes.
But now, no.
No?
I'm confident now. It will not affect us.
It won't replace
Really?
you?
No.
No.
But that's, so why would you? Why would
Never
the opposite?
replaces. It will. It will help.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Of course.
But it will not replace us. I have this confidence. I'm confident
Because the human touch. I
because of
think.
the human touch.
The human touch. What do you think? You think
It
they'll be
lacks-
replaced?
I don't know. I think
that
I
your
just,
view?
I just think AI is not only learning the information; it's almost learning the human style. Like
That's the problem. That's the new stuff.
like it's
Okay.
becoming
Yeah,
it's
it's
becoming
becoming
too
more
human to be
human.
true.
Yes. But can you imagine a car driving itself?
Yeah.
You can tell me yes,
Now,
but
honestly,
I cannot. I cannot.
Yeah.
But it's
imagine
it's
it.
happening right now. The cars are driving
Yeah.
themselves.
But not.
I mean, perhaps use them as a tool to support us. Like, I mean, the question I have
Yeah.
is that as an interpreter, surely you'd have. Let's imagine you're interpreting right now. On your table, you'd have your pen, paper,
Yes.
perhaps a little bit of research. Maybe the addition that we have in 2023 is a little phone with an AI tool.
right.
Perhaps,
Right.
you know. So, is that what you would potentially imagine doing, where you have AI on the table with
Maybe
you?
No,
assisting
I
you.
would-
You don't want AI assistance.
No, I'm
Old school.
Yes, old
Okay.
school.
I respect that.
I'm old school. I wouldn't use Google, for example.
Have you used any software to help
I
you translate?
used a lot,
Okay.
but it wouldn't satisfy me.
What do
When
you
I
use then?
compare my production,
Yeah,
my
right,
own
yeah.
mental production, to those machines, no.
It's losing the essence of whatever it is you're trying to translate.
And why I'm confident? Because I get the reactions of the audience
Yeah.
and the people and my customers, for example.
Yeah.
When they read my translation or when they listen to my interpreting, they are satisfied.
Yeah.
They're very happy.
Yeah.
But when I send them machine translation,
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
they are never satisfied.
Wow, very interesting to be honest. I never
Yeah.
thought that
Yeah.
because from the marketing, because I work in the marketing field. It's eating the marketing world up.
I
Honestly,
know, but I'm talking
from
from the translation,
Translation.
viewpoint.
Go ahead.
no, it's just that if we compare it in translation and interpretation, like which one do you think AI can eat first?
Translation.
Translation, yes,
Translation.
written.
Because that's
Written.
easier, the written stuff.
But again, I'm telling you, it will not eat it.
So going back, you said you wouldn't use tools. So what do you use then? Assuming you have a big project for translation.
My mind. I'm
Only
using my
mind-
mind.
and you don't
and
have
my-
a
Dictionary?
and
You don't use a
good.
dictionary?
I'm not using
Sometimes.
dictionary.
Khalas, yeah.
I'm, you know,
He
experienced
consumed all the
enough.
dictionaries.
You know,
Maybe I'll
He
go
made
back
you a
to
dictionary. He makes the dictionary.
And by the
now.
way, we're not. Most of the translators now are not using the dictionary, the books.
They're using the
dictionaries.
internet.
It is
They're
online.
online.
Online,
Yeah,
internet. Yes.
It's easier.
But again, I go back to the internet very rarely.
that's very
Very
interesting for you
rarely.
to know almost
Because-
every word in the dictionary.
You know, because I passed through most of the
Through
the
experience.
Things that, yes,
You've
it's
went through it.
experience.
I have
yes.
one question. It's a bit off topic, but it's about translations. Have you ever done any work on television or movies in terms of writing subtitles?
Yes, yes, I
Translation,
did
subtitles.
subtitles a
You do.
lot, but I'm not
It's
into
not something
that.
you enjoy.
I don't enjoy.
You
it.
don't enjoy that.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it involves a lot of work and,
And back and
it's
forth.
very technical.
Yeah.
And my line is not technical. My line is, you know, enjoying
Enjoying it.
translating from one language to
Okay.
another.
Nice.
Interesting.
If we were to just kind of like end this segment by advising people, if I was someone that's interested in getting into translation, okay, I am just simply similar to you, born interested in this, what advice would you give them?
First of all, you have to love it. Like the example I told you about,
Yeah.
the teaching and translating.
Okay.
And by the way, that friend of mine who was a teacher,
Yeah.
English teacher,
Yeah.
he was good translator,
Okay.
and I used to give him some work to do. Only 1 or 2 pages, and that's all. He gets bored.
Yeah.
No, I cannot.
Have to love it.
I
have
want
love
to
it.
teach.
I love it.
So, number 1, you have to love it. Number 2, you have to listen to the experienced people. I told you about the Sudanese translator who taught me
Yeah.
to be a professional translator. You know what? He used to shout at me. And he told me, if you want to be a good translator in the future, don't be angry when I shout at you.
Interesting.
Now,
You understand why.
I'm saying thank you
Thank you.
Wow.
to him.
Thank you so much for honestly taking part in this. It's been such a beautiful conversation
My
and beautiful
delight.
advice at the end.
My delight. Thank you very much
Of
for
course.
hosting me.
Of course, it was a
This
pleasure
nice,
having this conversation with you
Thank
and
you.
getting to know you on a personal level now that
Sure.
we've worked before.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back for the wrap up right here on The Untold.
What a beautiful episode today. Honestly,
Amazing.
as we
episode.
said at the start,
He's quite the character.
and first time on TV,
Yeah.
first time on camera,
Yeah.
and this is his character.
I wonder how he felt, what the difference was being on camera and just doing his job behind the scenes.
Felt very comfortable.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah. It's like
very
he's been
difficult
doing
job.
it for 40 years.
I love how passionate he is.
A lot of passion.
Yeah, very, very passionate.
And I love that he said that he couldn't be a teacher, regardless of how much English he knew. He just didn't have that in him.
yeah.
And he's being honest about it, and I love that about him.
So
He's
if
very
you-
honest.
If you're born thinking that you might lack translation, you might be true. I mean, you might be actually born a
Yeah.
translator.
Born
Interpreter.
translator. And
Like,
he claims to be one, and that's amazing, honestly.
a difficult job. AI, debatable if it's going to eat stuff or not. I stand with yes.
We
As
shall
we'll-
see if
we
AI replaces TV hosts, which is being done
Which is
on
being
a
done.
on a show on KTV
There's
too
no
called
Hussein or Ahmad anymore.
Nope, they do have
Just
AI.
X and Y.
So we need a new job.
Probably do.
We need a new source for income, my friend.
Let's find one. All right.
That's it for tonight's episode for The Untold. We'll join you next time with a brand new guest right here on KTV2. Good night.
Good night.